Hi, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Maria. Hello, if you're returning, welcome back. Anyway, so backstory. A few months ago, I made a pointless experiment about this pencil tip, but apparently it's not that pointless after all, because somehow this silicone tip is getting, I don't know, like people are interested in it. But the video was so brief. I don't think it's enough to cover everything that I should have talked about in that video. So in this video, I'm gonna be taking you to another, I hope not pointless, experiment. I'm gonna cover about the pressure sensitivity of the pencil tip with and without the silicone. It's very small, I hope you can see it, but it's here at the tip of my hand right here. So with and without this little thing, it's pink color, so I'm not sure if you can see it yet. Yeah, so with and without. So I'm gonna bring you again to, yeah, I hope this time it's not pointless. So I'm gonna be showing you the pressure sensitivity of the pencil tip. I'm sorry if my AC sounds too loud in this video. It's freaking hot in here. For the purpose of this experiment, I'm gonna be using Procreate because yes, usually people use Procreate, and then I'm gonna be using the Studio Pen here because Studio Pen has the pressure sensitive properties to it, so we can play around with that. But for the stroke properties, yeah, I don't have anything set. Everything is none, so spacing, streamline, jitter, fall off, I've set everything to none. Usually I like to streamline, but for the sake of this video, let's just put it to 0. Okay, also a disclaimer, I'm not the best at hand lettering, but I'm gonna try my best to demonstrate the sensitivity of the tip with and without the silicone tip. Yes, I'm using the yellow silicone wrap. It's so cute, I love it. Alright, sorry. Okay, so right now I'm just using the bare tip of the pencil. Okay, this is the pencil on its own, so I want you to understand the level of skill we are dealing with here. All right, so there's something here. So I'm gonna be using this dark green without silicone tip. Okay, I'm just gonna write my name. I told you I'm not the best, but this is the best you can get. Alright, so that's without. So now I'm gonna put it on. So I have here, it's pink color, so you might not you might not see it, but it's pink color here. Let me just, one thing I want to note, if you're using this silicone tip, it's important that you really put it in, like you really insert it like fully. I can't stress this enough, but you need to insert the pencil tip fully into the silicone because you know there's a barrier right here, so you don't want to create another gap in there. So what I like to do, I just like to push it like this, just gently. Make sure that the tip really gets to the end of the tunnel. You get what I mean? I hope it makes sense. So now that we do that, let's change color. Maybe we can try with pink. All right, I'm gonna write my name again. I'm not sure if you can tell, but of course there's no sound coming out from the pencil, but I kind of like accidentally, like the writing process just suddenly becomes a lot more smooth. I mean, the pencil, maybe because there's no friction, so the oh my god, I'm so sorry if this this is not satisfying. Sorry, but I don't know why that when I use the silicone tip, maybe because there's no friction, so it glides like super smoothly, like riding wise it gets smoother compared to like if I take it off. I will have a little bit of like friction, so I am a little bit more aware. I'm a little bit more aware of when I'm pressing it harder or lighter. I think without the silicone tip, I'm just a little bit more aware of it. But if I have it on, it just glides because there's no friction. So as a newbie who is not very experienced in hand lettering, I will tend to get like a, you might get a little bit of I wouldn't say like wrong or anything. It's just like the stroke will feel a lot smoother, like you just like zoom you just I'm sorry, that's not helpful. Just suddenly you are not aware of it. You just suddenly I just write a little bit faster. But I want you to recognize this here, that I kind of like tend to get this gap a little bit more when I'm using the silicone tape. Maybe because there's a slight barrier, so it kind of like affects, like when I don't press it enough, I will tend to get like that gap when I just like very lightly. I hope you can see the difference. Like without, I can get by with like a very like the slightest touch of the tip on the screen, if that makes sense. Like this is barely touching, but you can still get the strokes. If I were to put the silicone tip, this is what I get, barely touching. Okay, it's still there, but sorry, kind of like it's still there, but it's missing here. This part right here, I was barely touching, but it didn't really, oh shit, see? Okay, now it gets there. So you have to be conscious, because the silicone tip will have this property to see, it's missing again, to like I would say like the stroke just kind of like missed. I'm so bad at explaining this, but I hope it makes sense that with the silicone tip you need to be extra aware of the tip when you are barely touching the screen. But if you don't, the pencil tip of this Apple Pencil is awesome. It's great. This is barely grazing the screen and you still get the strokes. And with this one, you just have to be a little bit more aware of it. Oh, see? I just said it. Okay. There's like a slight, like even with the same angle, like just now when I was doing these strokes right here, I was using this angle of pencil. So you just need to be a little bit more aware of it because of the nature of the silicone tip to be, in between your tip and the screen. I hope that makes sense. So to make this experiment worthwhile, let me try one more time. Let me write, notice my angle. I'm using this angle because I have this camera right here, so yeah. hand ladder. Okay, that's correct. I was wondering if my spelling is correct. So that's without. I'm gonna change it. Now this is with. Again, make sure to really get it in. Yeah, I just feel like suddenly like the motion just a lot smoother. There's like no friction. And so I think the best way to describe it is that with this silicone tip, it just feels a little bit more slippery. So if that's something that you would prefer, I would recommend you to practice hand lettering using the silicone tip, because I think it does require a little bit of practice to get used to the sensitivity of the tip, if that makes sense, with the silicone tip. Because I'm not used to hand lettering with the silicone tip, so this is the best that you can get. But yeah, but there's not much of a difference, if you can see. Like, there's not much of a difference between these two things. I think it all comes down to which one you would prefer. If you prefer something like a lot smoother, like when you are writing, then practice with the silicone tape. If you would prefer to have that control and friction when you're writing, I think it's better without. Yeah. So I also received questions that if this thing wears off. I don't use it that much, but it doesn't wear off. I don't feel like it wearing off, even though I'm using a Paperlike screen protector. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I don't think it messes much with the silicone tip, so it can last for a long time with this one. But the idea of having a bunch of them is because it's easily lost if you misplace it, because it's so small. It's helpful to have a bunch of them handy, so if you lose one, you can just get a replacement easily. So, but yeah, I think that covers the experiments. Okay, so I think that wraps up the experiment. There's no way I can tell which one is better for you, because I think it depends on your preference. I still prefer without the silicone tip. That's my personal preference. I like having the control and a little bit of friction, especially when I'm hand lettering, because I want to feel the pressure. Because if I put the silicone tape, there's no friction, zero friction, so it kind of like gets a little bit slippery to write with it, and so I tend to miss the difference between a lighter stroke and when I'm pressing harder. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any other question, just leave them in the comment box. I will get to you as soon as I can, and that should cover all for this video. Thanks for hanging out with me, and if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe so we can meet again in the future video. That's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
When I fall asleep, yeah, I need you with me by my side.